Okay, so here's a quick look at what our online space looks like for students. And so you'll notice this navigation bar at the top. You probably won't have all of these other ones, but if you click on content or you're on our course home, it will look like this. And so where you want to pay careful attention, you want to start with important information. But you want to work through this quite quickly since we are now invested in the actual content of the course. But here in important information is where you find information about how to use our course layout. And so to access a page, you just click on it. And then it's just taking a moment to load here. It will tell you information about how to access your JCC account, how to access JCC portal. If you're confused about these things, it's worth giving some time and attention to these topics so that you do understand them for future classes. So I'm just going to work through this real fast. Characteristics of successful students. Continuing on, it gives us some groundwork for Connecticut. That was a pop-up. So if you didn't notice that, that's what that did there. I'm trying to get this to go elsewhere. So with JCC pop-up. I'm gonna go on back here. Go to myjcc.com. Your Brightspace, you could just go to JCC this time. Okay, so I've navigated back to our page. Again, the important information, I'm not going to click on all of them, but I'm going to show you what's there. And then you can click on it on your own time and read this information. So this is more school-wide information that you will be responsible for, except you will see, and of course, my little navigation bar is again getting in my way, your next steps, assignment alert. So the first assignment here, is to, if you haven't already done so, please read all the documents in the course information folder. They contain information that will help you succeed in this course. So now that was important information. And now this next folder is the course information folder. So the first one, important information, has to do with you as a student at JCC. The course information folder is now information that you need in terms of this actual course. So you'll find the syllabus here. There's also a link to the syllabus for the institution. So this doesn't change. My syllabus will look different from Simone's syllabus, from another instructor who's teaching this course, but the institutional course syllabus is the bones of the course, and that will always remain the same. Important dates. This is a page that you will want to pay attention to. This is the one that I screenshot during my announcement of when things are due. And so this gives you an overview of the entire term and when things are coming up, when they're due. The suggested due date is the due date that I suggest that students get work done for each one of these modules to be kind of on par for this course and not get overwhelmed. However, you won't be penalized for anything that's submitted by the final due date. And I won't accept work after the final due date of Unit 1 because I need to open up the Unit 1 exam, and it's not fair to the other students to still have that work open. So that's what these suggested dates are, but the final due date, that's the deadline for submission for a unit. Now this next, when I pressed forward, the next one is to come into here and if you have any questions, you can go ahead and plunk them in here. And we did have a couple, but we're going to go past that. And now we're still in the course information folder. See, I can tell that here up where the breadcrumbs are. This is where you introduce yourself. So you will go through here, start a new thread, and reply to these questions that are listed here. So open the discussion, click start a new thread, enter a subject, enter the text in the box, click submit. Answer the following questions in your post. Why are you taking this course? What do you hope to learn by taking this course? And what would you like to know about your classmates? So you'll get 10 points for doing that. Pretty easy, no preparation posting on our discussion board. And the purpose of that assignment is so that you get a chance to get a feel for the system. You'll notice I recently awarded you points for this assignment. One of your assignments is to email your instructor and to do that from your JCC email account. And you did that. So there we go. so now in the course information, the last one is that Unit 1 opens on Tuesday. So Tuesday, January 17th, everything was going to get started. So we'll go ahead and press forward and see where that takes us. And so you'll notice that now the title of the page is changed to Unit 1, Defining Communication and Self. And so here we are within the Unit 1 folder, and under Unit 1, we have Chapter 1, 2, 3, and 8. And above each unit, you'll find a little summary of what is included in the unit, as well as when the due dates are for it. So the Unit 1 includes information from chapters 1, 2, 3, and 8. And you just continue on the same way that we did before. And so I'm going to scroll down. This is the Unit 1 container. And then if I click the Unit 1 module overview, I will get a sense of what is in this module. And so the learning objectives that are covered, what needs to happen, and the assignments for each chapter. So I'm going to go ahead and click forward. And you'll note that I've introduced a little information here about your textbook. So there's some information there. I'll go ahead and press forward again. And now we are in chapter 1. So this really begins the content look of the course. So we've looked at important information. We've looked at course information. We've looked at the Unit 1 overview, and we're finally into what the chapter 1, the content looks like. And so in chapter 1, there's also an overview of what's in chapter 1. And there's a quick outline. So what are we going to cover here? We're going to cover why communicate, the communication process, messages and meaning, and communication ethics. And again, those dates are wrong, so I'll have to update that. But here are the chapter objectives, and these are introduction pages to help you stay organized. Now, again, the due dates for this are February 16th. That's the final due date, and I'll have to check for what the suggested due date was, but I will change that after our Zoom right now. Okay, so chapter 1, assignments and information. At the start of the chapters, you'll get a look at what's inside of chapter 1 that I need to do. So you need to read chapter 1, use the PowerPoint as a guide for your note taking if needed. So that's optional. You don't need to submit anything for reading chapter 1. You just need to do it. Otherwise, you'll be unsuccessful with doing the actual assignments. Review the chapter 1 glossary. Again, that's a review. I don't have a test or anything else in terms of a turn in for that, but it will be very important to you as you do the chapter 1 assignment activity. Participate in the chapter 1 discussion board, do the chapter 1 journal, and take the end of chapter assessment quiz. So let's take a look at those in more detail. So again, I'm advancing the slides forward. We're still in chapter 1. And this is moving to something big is happening here. Okay, this is having trouble connecting, but it shouldn't have trouble on your end because you've inserted the information necessary to read chapter 1. So that's what that's doing, is pulling up the chapter 1 reading for you. I'm going to go ahead and close that. All right, and the next one is going to be the chapter 1 glossary. So these are the key words of the chapter 1 of your textbook. Again, this information is included for every chapter that we review for the remainder of the term. Here's the chapter 1 PowerPoint. So this goes over the text reading. And you can use that for your guidance. Chapter 1 notes. So these are basically highlights of the most important information within the chapter. And then finally, once we get through that, that's the preparation. Here's kind of more of the interactive side of things. So the first assignment that you have that's graded within chapter 1 is the chapter 1 journal. And so you have two options here. You can do option 1 or option 2. So you just choose one of those and then you respond to that. Your next assignment will be to do the chapter 1 assignment. And so for this assignment, I've asked you to find a video clip of 2 people communicating, post the link that you choose, and then you utilize that video to identify the 7 components of the communication process. And so I've given you an example of what that looks like when someone does it correctly, and that's down here on the bottom. And then you will write it out and submit it. there and then get scored on that. And then there's 3 more things to be graded for chapter 1. So the next one is the discussion prompt. So your discussion prompt comes up. You'll do the same thing you did initially, which is to start a new thread. You respond to the prompt given, and then for complete credit, for a complete discussion, you'll need to respond to one of your classmates' posts. So Crystal Oakley, she had a response. So you would go ahead after you've done your submission, click on Crystal's submission, and then, or, you know, Ashton or anyone else in class, and then you would reply to them. There's another discussion prompt next. She would do the same thing, start a new thread, respond to the prompt given, and then for complete credit in the discussion, you'll find one of your classmates' threads and you will reply to that. And then finally, for chapter 1, this would complete the chapter 1 material, there's a quiz. And so you go ahead and complete quiz. Well, it's not giving me a chance to start it, but that's probably because of how I'm logged in. Okay, so that's really it. I mean, once you do that, the system will lead you through to chapter 2 right away. So it's always going to look exactly the same for each chapter, be graded in there. I'm asking you to read the chapter. There's a glossary and PowerPoint to help support you. Also some notes, the journal entry, an assignment, and then 2 discussion prompts and a quiz. So hopefully this is enough to help you get in and you know, get some work done, but let me know if this is still, if you're still having trouble accessing it or don't understand what you need to complete the work, okay? I am going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to go ahead and end this.